Hey everyone, it's Stranger Grayson here. Welcome back to another horror movie review. This month, we're going to be starting a new horror franchise for March. And maybe you guys guessed correctly in the community tab that I posted. Maybe, maybe not. I'm sure you can assume what it is because it had a four-leaf clover and gold. And that is the Leprechaun franchise. Now, there are 8 movies in this franchise. This has a 7-film collection, but I own the last movie on Blu-ray. I'll be reviewing the first movie for you guys today. This franchise is kind of a one of the more comedic horror movies. If you remember them from a while, here's the backside. Yeah, it's one of the more known, like, cheesy 90s horror franchises, but I still think it's good for what it is, at least most of the films. Anyway, Leprechaun, what is it about? So the original Leprechaun movie follows a man named, or a girl named Jennifer, Tori, and she's played by Jennifer Aniston, who I believe this was her first movie debut, like first ever acting role on TV. This was before Friends, so she didn't really star in that yet. Nobody really noticed her then, but this was her first acting role. Then of course you have Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun. I believe he was having trouble finding work until about this movie started to come out. He was able to get a new franchise going. But the movie opens up with the Leprechaun looking at his gold and just having a good time with it. But then it cuts to a man named Dan O'Grady coming out of a limousine and his wife. He actually stole the gold from the Leprechaun, and he stole the gold from the Leprechaun, and he is trying to get a lot of money from it. So his wife thinks he's nuts, but that is until the Leprechaun shows up. Leprechaun kills his wife and tries to get the gold back. However, Dan O'Grady pulls out a 4-leaf clover, and we find out that's his weakness. He shoots him, it stuns him, but then he puts him in a crate, nails it shut, and puts the clover on top of it. However, before he can burn the place down and kill the Leprechaun uses his powers to give Dan a stroke, and he passes out right there on the floor before he can light the match. And the Leprechaun is trapped in there for about 10 years. 10 years pass, then Tori and her father get the house. They buy it. They're going to start moving in there. They're going to have to renovate it first, though. So they're renovating it. They get these painter dudes to come in. Nate, Alex, and Ozzy. And they're basically the main cast of this movie. Tori and the 3 painters are basically the main cast of this movie. They go down there to just renovate. However, Ozzy goes down by himself into the basement where the Leprechaun is. And the Leprechaun uses his powers to trick Ozzy into to come check out the box. But in the process, he brushes the 4-leaf clover off the box, and that allows the Leprechaun to bust out and escape. Of course, nobody believes Ozzy because he's a storyteller. He talks about fairies and fantasies a lot. But later on, they do come across, Alex and Ozzy come across his gold. They hide it. Then, of course, the Leprechaun comes out fully, and he starts wreaking havoc with the main cast. This movie was kind of a cheesy 90s horror elements to it. I thought the main cast was really great, with Tori, Nathan, Alex, Ozzy. They were all great main characters. I definitely think Ozzy was the funniest out of the 4, though. Jennifer Aniston did pretty well with her starting career. I believe this was her first movie. But I thought she did amazing in it. Of course, there were some moments where I was about, but other than that, I thought it was actually pretty interesting. Warwick Davis does an amazing job as the Leprechaun. The makeup effects on him look really great. I like the whole setting with like this urban area or rural area, not urban, rural. And there's just a lot of nice elements to the movie that with a budget of $1 million, you really don't think that they're able to pull something off this great. And it's funny to me because even with like all the cheesy elements and some of the bad acting, you still have a good enjoyment out of it. It's like a so bad it's good type of movie. I personally think it's one of the better 90s horror movies out there. I just didn't think a lot of the 90s horror movies were good besides Scream and this movie. I just never really could get into that type of stuff, you know? But the kills in this movie, less graphic than you were normally in. If you're like one of the people that likes a high body count, a lot of blood and gore, this is probably not the movie for you because there's really only like 3 or 4 kills in this movie. And 2 of them don't barely have any blood in it. And the one good kill I did find was when the Leprechaun killed a pawn shop dealer with a pogo stick. He like bit his leg so he couldn't run away. He takes the gold coin back that he was borrowing, and then he grabs a pogo stick and just hops all over his body and kills him. I thought that was pretty funny. I think that was like the goriest kill out of the 3 or 4 that was in there. But yeah, you can definitely tell that this was a PG-13 movie at first, but then they wanted to get an R rating. I believe that's why one of these kills were like added in so they could get an R rating for the movie. The ending to this movie was, you know, one of the more just basic endings. Like, you know, you find his weakness, you kill him. The whole 4-leaf clover thing with him, I thought, you know, it was kind of funny. They definitely went into the Irish lore a lot with this movie. There's even a scene where like he finds a box of Lucky Charms, he eats some and he spits them out and he says, I hate luck or I hate clovers and all that, and he spits it out and he throws the box down. I thought that was pretty interesting. Then he's got like this shoe shine fetish where like anytime somebody throws a shoe at him or he sees shoes that are dirty, he always shines them. I thought that was kind of funny for the character. If you don't know, Warwick Davis starred in a few other movies before this, not horror. I think he was in Return of the Jedi and Star Wars. He played the Ewok. I think he was only like 11 years old at the time. And then he was also in the movie Hollow. I'm not sure if y'all have seen that, but I've only seen clips of it. But from what I've seen, he does a really good job in that movie. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a pretty interesting film. And I'm hoping you guys can enjoy this ride with me on the Leprechaun franchise. I don't think some of the movies are going to be as good as this. But definitely starting out, this was a great start for the franchise. I'm hoping some other people might review it this month. I don't think Strange Michael will. I'm hoping it will, but I don't think that's going to happen. Goosebumps Completionist, his horror movie channel, I'm hoping he might review it, at least one of the movies. But I think he's on break right now. He should be coming back within like the next week. He's on break right now, but I just hope some other people might be able to review this for the month of March. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. All I have to say on a Leprechaun. Overall, it was a very solid movie. If you want one of those 90s horror comedy things, it's more horror than it is comedy, but there is some comedy thrown in there. I definitely think you'll get an enjoyment out of it. Anyways, that has been my review on Leprechaun from 1993. Very solid movie. If I'd rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it about an 8 out of 10. Definitely, there were a few improvements I think that could be made to the movie. Got a little too funny at times, but not to the point where like it was unwatchable. I still think you can get a pretty good enjoyment out of this. It's still a good movie. Highly recommend it for St. Patrick's Day movie, or if you want to watch something in the month of March, definitely check this out. But anyway, what is everyone's thoughts on Leprechaun? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Would really love to hear everyone's thoughts on it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you with the next Leprechaun film. God bless, and yeah, have a good weekend and good week. Bye-bye, everyone.